Hello, I am just completely changing my plans and starting a fairly spontaneous video because it is the most grim day outside. It is literally blowing a storm, it's cold, it's wet, it's rainy, and I've got a lot of plant stuff to do and I don't particularly feel like doing anything today. It's not the kind of weather that encourages productivity, but I'm pushing through, and I was about to actually just take Joli out for a walk, but she is pretty flat out on the sofa currently, and I'm thinking she can probably hold out for a little bit. So I thought I would light some candles, have a bit of a tidy up, and yeah, get on with some houseplant stuff. I've got some fairly major repots that I've been putting off for quite a while. I've got some just kind of like general updates that I want to give you. I've got lots of things that I need to do, and I feel like today is the day to do it. So yeah, also I have just woken up and I've realised that I have done the intro to this video in a very weird way compared to how I usually do it. So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Joli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learned over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. Oh, Joli's having a little groom. That is the plan for this video. I would have thought it's probably going to be a fairly long one just because I do have quite a lot to get through. So yeah, as always, if you've got planty stuff to do as well, grab some plants, we can do it together. And yes, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So the first and very necessary thing to start with is coffee. I have already had one pot this morning, but I'm gonna make a second pot and I feel like that will give me the energy I need to power through, and then we can get lots done and it will be great. While the kettle's boiling, I thought I would just take you through one of the first things that I want to do today, and that is repot my bird of paradise. She is, as you can see, growing very, very, very big nowadays. I did actually just put her here to water her last night, so she's currently just on top of a bowl. But I have got two plants in the same pot here, and I think she's drying out so quickly at the moment. I think her roots are probably pretty crazy, and I think she would benefit from a repot. So yeah, that's gonna be a fairly major one, but something I do think I want to tackle this morning. Also, something really, really exciting. My Monstera dubia has just given me this new leaf. And I don't know if you could probably gauge the length of that leaf on camera, but it's absolutely insane. And I am honestly just over the moon with it. Also, if you can hear me shuffling on my knees, that is because that is what I'm doing. But yeah, I just think it's amazing. But as you can see, it is growing off its moss pole now. So that's one of the other things I need to do today. I need to extend its moss pole and potentially repot this one as well. I'm not sure, I'll have a look, but yeah, I just couldn't wait to show you that amazing new leaf. One thing that I really can't decide about with my bird of paradise is whether or not to divide the plants and create, because obviously, as I say, it is two separate plants potted in the same pot. I really love the fullness of the plants, but at the same time, I do know that because it's growing so quickly, it probably would benefit from being separated. I don't know, I'm kind of a bit in my own head about that, because there's a massive part of me that doesn't want to separate the plants, because as I say, I do really love how they're growing at the moment, but I just want the plant to be as happy as it possibly can be. So I don't know, I guess I just need to kind of get in there, look at the roots, see what it's doing, and then I'll be able to make a decision. But I'm just first having a bit of a clear up because me and Ross have made quite a big mess from the weekend. We are also going to Comic-Con in a few weeks' time, and we've been doing lots of like costume making and stuff like that. So there are some very weird things lying around the flat. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and get it back to a decent state to start plant stuff, and then we can get going. An example of some of the weird Comic-Con stuff we've got lying around. And this is nothing to do with Comic-Con, but Ross just thought it would be funny to buy, and now it apparently lives here. Before I forget, something that I keep meaning to update you on and I just haven't done is my Alocasia green shield little babies. I know I transferred these ones to semi-hydro in a video recently, and since I've done that and just taken the lid off and had them under grow lights, they have just exploded with growth, and I feel so proud of these ones. I don't know if I will... I mean, I know they can get quite big. I don't feel ready to part with them yet, but I'm thinking maybe I might take a few of them to the plant swap because I do have quite a lot. I might potentially pot some of them back with my mother plant as well and get a big fuller plant going because, I mean, in my opinion, you can never have too much of this plant. I think it is just wonderful. But yeah, I've just got it up here at the moment and it seems very, very happy growing there. If you're on my Patreon, you'll know that my propagation station or like propagation zone won't actually be staying like this for very long. I've got big plans to rearrange, and although I'm kind of sad to be losing this space, I'm excited for what I'm going to create. So yeah, for now she's staying there, but I'll figure it out. I'll let you know if I make any decisions, but for now she's doing very, very well. Okay, so I don't think I've ever filmed a video from this angle before, but I feel like this is probably going to be the only way that I can repot this plant without squashing its foliage because it is so big. Oh my goodness, it's also going into the sink. No. But I've currently just got it inside. It's actually just a waste paper basket that I revamped. I think I got the basket from like Poundland or somewhere, and I've just put ribbon around it. And I've tried to make it look a little bit prettier. But what I think I will do is I'll just try and very gently put this plant on its side without breaking any leaves. Please be nice to me. Okay, and then I'm just going to try and have a really good look at the roots, and this is the biggest pot that I've got, so I could, in theory, keep both plants together if I wanted to. I think this will be big enough. I think it's probably about 4 or 5 centimetres up from what it's in at the moment. But the only annoying thing is that I don't actually have that much soil. I thought I had way more than I actually do. I think just because I've been stocking up on loads of like semi-hydro and stuff recently, I am actually a little bit short. So I've got this bag here and I've got some worm castings, but I think what I'm probably going to do, again, obviously depending on what the roots look like, but is probably not mess with this root system too much and not break it up too much. Just because I did actually repot this plant less than a year ago, so the soil it's in is relatively new. I think it has just scaled up size-wise a lot in the last year, both growth-wise and I'm sure root growth-wise as well. Oh my goodness, even getting it out of the pot is a bit of a mission. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, I might have to put some clips in because I obviously can't hold it up, but the roots on this are incredible. Yeah, no wonder this plant has been drying up very quickly. So I know I said I wasn't gonna mess with the root ball too much. I'm not gonna like completely break it up, but I am just gonna loosen it a little bit because it's got some really thick roots in here. Give them a little bit of a wiggle and see if I can just get them a little bit looser. I accidentally just broke one off and it is huge. To be honest, I think the plant can afford to lose a little bit of root, so I'm not too worried about that. But my god, there are some crazy ones in here. So the time that I'm filming this now, this is the first day of October, and I saw one of my friends over the weekend and she was telling me that she's going to do Stoptober, which I don't know if it's specific to smoking. I think maybe you can apply it to like any bad habit that you want to kick, but she was like, I'm 100% going to use it to stop smoking for the month with the aim of quitting. And so I started smoking many years ago, and I quit. I finally, like after many times of trying to quit, I eventually quit, I think about 1.5 2 years ago now. But I quit by moving on to a vape, and although I know that vaping is much better for you than smoking, obviously there's no long-term evidence to back that up. But yeah, I started vaping, and honestly, I swear vaping is more addictive than smoking, but it's been something that I really would like to kind of nip in the bud and at some point stop. And so this is my first day for quite a long time without a vape. When Ross was over yesterday, I threw it in the bin. He put some mouldy lemons on it.
No go back from that now, is there?
No. So that I wouldn't go rummaging in the bin for it. Not that I would have done that anyway, but you know what I mean. But yeah, this is the first morning waking up with no nicotine in, oh my God, I don't even know how many years. So this feels a little bit weird, and I feel a little bit twitchy, and I'm glad that I'm doing planty things and talking to you guys, because I feel like I'm going to need quite a lot of distraction today. So yeah, if any of you guys are also doing Stoptober, then I hope it goes well for you. I know it's just an excuse to be like, oh, well, in October I'll do this. But at the same time, sometimes it is kind of good to give yourself that kind of challenge and then kick a bad habit. So yeah, if I can make it through the month and not vape again, I will be very proud of myself. But yes, okay, right, this is really difficult. Also because I can't really turn it round that much without squashing foliage. I've got a lot of the big roots a little bit untangled, and I think that would probably be all right. I think that'd be enough to repot the plant and kind of get it spreading a little bit in its new environment. So I think, oh, one more squeeze. I think I'm gonna just do the transfer to its new pot and hope that I've got enough soil here to make this work. If I don't, then this will have been pointless, but I think I probably should. As I say, I am going to reuse a little bit of the old soil. Oh my goodness. This is so big, it's almost a 2-person job, to be completely honest. But luckily it does seem to be staying up by itself, because I thought it might just fall over. Okay, I think I'm happy. It's so heavy now. This plant was heavy before, but oh my goodness, she literally weighs a ton. So yeah, I'm gonna give her a water through. Oh, in fact, I'm not gonna give her a water through, just because obviously I didn't take off quite a lot of soil from the last time, and I did water her through last night. So I think I would probably give it a week or so and then water her. Just because I don't want to overwater right as I potted her up and then cause her to start rotting. So yeah, I'm just going to pop her back in her same position as before, and then I'll come back to her in a little while and hope that she's doing super well for me and continuing to grow beautifully. We made an apple crumble and custard for pudding last night, and oh my goodness, it is so good, and I'm just finishing it off for breakfast, which I know is naughty, but I can't be bothered to make anything else right now. What are you doing? I'm desperately trying to get better at clearing up as I go when I do plant stuff, because usually I will just leave it in a massive pile and I'll come back to it like hours later. So I'm really trying to hold myself accountable more and clear up as I get through the tasks. So before I get on to doing my Monstera dubia, I just need to do something that I saw in my cabinet this morning and I was like, oh my goodness, this needs doing immediately. It will take all of 2 minutes. But my Alocasia Regal shield is sizing up very, very, very quickly. I know when I first showed you guys this plant, you said that it would. I've never owned this type of Alocasia before. But yeah, you're totally right. It grows at the speed of light and is getting very big very quickly. But I just looked at the little plastic cup I've got it in at the moment, and obviously it's very rooty in there, but I can also see that it's got corms that are really pushing out the side of the cup, like they're actually denting the plastic. So I don't know if it's going to be as simple as being able to just lift it out, or if I might need to actually cut the cup off it. But it's definitely time to upgrade its pots because I think the plant is getting too big for something that size. So I'm going to go into this just little tower pot, which is often used for pon, and I'm going to keep it in semi-hydro because it does seem very happy like this, but I don't think it's going to be able to stay in my cabinet for much longer because I think it's going to be outgrowing it pretty quickly. But I'm really scared of damaging the plant. I'm trying to, oh, okay, maybe we do. No, it's not coming out. I'm just trying to give it a gentle pull. I think I'm gonna actually have to cut the cup, which is annoying because I do like reusing these cups, but also it's really fragile and I don't want to damage it, so. Whoa. Oh my God, that is insane. Look at that, isn't that crazy? Wow, okay, I feel like once this one is in here, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't say this often with smaller plants, but I almost feel like I could go bigger. But I'm gonna stick with this just for the time being because I'd like to be able to keep this plant in my cabinet. I know it doesn't need to be in a cabinet environment. I'm just enjoying growing it in there, and it obviously seems very happy like that. So yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be able to stay in my cabinet for much longer if it keeps growing at this rate. Perfect, and then I'll just keep it in a little either ceramic or just little cache pot, and I'll fill a reservoir at the bottom, and I think that should be fine for that plant. As I say, I knew that would be a very quick one to do. It's just one that, you know, when you see something and you're like, oh my goodness, I feel like that is something that needs to be tackled immediately. That's how I felt about this one this morning. But the one that I am really, really excited to do, let me just tidy up as I go first before I move on to the next thing. Well done, Claire, pat on the back. But the one that I'm really excited about, as I've already shown you in this video, is my Monstera dubia. And yeah, now that I'm kind of like next to it for size reference, just look at that new leaf. It's just absolutely blowing my mind. I'm so happy with how this plant's doing. So for the Monstera dubia moss pole extension, one thing that I did last time, because I've obviously extended, as you can see, its moss pole once already. What I did last time that was a mistake is I put the clear plastic backing going over the other moss pole. And this time I'm going to definitely do it going under, because doing it over like that just means that when I water the moss pole, often water just kind of seeps out of here and it doesn't fully hydrate the bottom. So yeah, that's a lesson that I've learned and something that I need to do differently this time. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to continue with the D-shaped moss pole because I love this one. It's amazing for this plant. It really allows some aerial roots to kind of properly get going, and means that if you want to do a chop and extend like I did with this section, it just makes it a lot easier. So So yeah, what I'm gonna do to start with, I've just got some clear gridding. This is the stuff that I get from B&Q, but you can get it on Amazon. And I'm just gonna measure what I've already done here, and then I'm just gonna cut so I've got the exact same size of the grids. And it can just be a little bit finicky and time consuming doing it this way because you literally have to cut every single individual one, but it does work really well. So although it's a little bit tedious, I would say it's worth doing. And I am doing a fairly small moss pole extension just because I don't have that much more grid. I need to get some more, I keep calling it grid, this metal wire mesh stuff, I need to get some more of it. So I thought just doing a smaller one today, just even if it just lasts me the next few months, I can always do another extension. So that is what I'm doing. So cool, that is gonna be the front of the extension, the front of the moss pole extension. And then the clear plastic backing is acetate film, and I brought it over. And again, I'll link this stuff down below. I just get it on Amazon. And I'm just gonna measure how much I cut it to before. And then I thought I brought over a Sharpie, but this is actually a whiteboard marker, so that's not gonna be as useful as I would have liked, but I'll just try not to rub it out. Okay, so about there. And obviously you can measure this to be really, really exact. I personally am really bad at doing things like that, so I am just gonna do it like that. That's how I've done it. I can see my line, I can see that it's roughly right, and I've left a little bit of overhang so that I can tuck a bit of acetate into the moss pole. And then I'm just gonna put it on, and I'm gonna roughly, again, just mark where I want my holes to be that I'm gonna hole punch. And then I'm gonna punch my holes. Okay, so now obviously I haven't filled it all the way. I can do that afterwards. I just wanna get it on the way that I want it. So I'm gonna have plastic going inside. And then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just punch 2 holes at the top of the old pole, and then I can just cable tie all of that together, and it can be really, really secure. So I can go through the original moss pole, through the new moss pole, the acetate, and I can go through the wire mesh on both as well. So then when I tie it, it will secure the new and the old moss pole together really well. I'm gonna do that on both sides. Cool, and now I can push the moss down into position, and I can just carry on filling my moss pole and cable tying it as I go. Cool, and I'm just gonna fill it to there for now, because obviously, I mean, I could fill it all the way, but for the next month or two, it means I'm gonna be keeping this section hydrated, but I don't actually need to be. So I think I'm just gonna trim my cable ties back now, and then I will fill the moss pole as I need to. But yeah, it's now got lots more space to climb, and I always find that often doing a moss pole extension, it almost makes the plant look bigger, and I feel like it really does for this one. I don't know why. It makes that leaf look even longer as well. Just look at it. I've started using these scissors and I got them off Amazon. They're really sharp, they're really good, but I absolutely hate them because anytime you like, I don't know, push down hard on them, they clamp your, like the skin just there. And I've got like 3 blood blisters on that bit by my thumb because every time I use these scissors, I end up injuring myself. So I think they may have to go to the charity shop and I may have to get some new ones again. Ow. Give it a little water and hydrate. And I know I said that I wanted to repot this plant, and to be honest, I think it does need a repot. But this is just me being silly. I was gonna do that before I actually added the moss pole extension. And now it's a little bit more difficult to maneuver because obviously I have done it. But I think what I'll probably do is just get this plant out of, oh my goodness. Yeah, similarly actually to what I showed you with the Alocasia Regal shield. I don't know if you could tell from the shape of that pot, but I can see its roots are just pushing out like crazy. So, oh, will I have to cut the pot? I think I might. Yeah, I think I might need to cut this one out of its pot as well, my God. Oh my goodness. Okay, so considering I only did the chop and extend on this plant, I think about 3-4 months ago maybe, and it didn't have any roots in the soil when I first did that. This is crazy. Can you see that? I'll get it out and I'll show you properly, but oh my goodness. I was not expecting this at all. Oh my God. Look at that. Wow. Okay. So I'm gonna try and get as much of the soil off these roots as I possibly can. I think I do want to get it into semi-hydro. I feel like that would be a really good shout for the plant. I think considering just how quickly its roots grow, I probably don't have to be too terrified about pot sizing up a little bit, because I know sometimes I'm like, oh, you've got to be very careful if you just go up like 1 or 2 pot sizes at a time. I feel like this one could potentially take a little bit more. And I'm actually thinking that it might work quite well in the pots that my bird of paradise came out of earlier, because I feel like that would be about the right size for it. Oh my God, I just cannot get over that. I feel shocked by that. The growth in such a short space of time. Even if you just potted up a cutting or something in that space of time, I would be amazed by that. But considering, as I say, it didn't have any roots in the soil whatsoever. This is the most satisfying soil to take off the roots, because although it's taking a bit of time, it is just kind of crumbling and falling away. I think because the soil in there is quite new, so it's very, very satisfying. Okay, I have got the majority of the soil off the roots, I think, as much as I'm going to be able to get off. And that is what they're looking like. Obviously, there's foliage in the way, but that is really, really insane. And I've tried my best to get as much of the soil out of the back of the moss pole at the bottom as possible as well. Obviously, some of the roots have started growing into it, but I think so long as most of the organic matter is off, then it will be fine. In terms of semi-hydro, the only thing with using the bird of paradise pot is that I don't have a cache pot big enough to create a decent reservoir, so it would be the case of temporarily just using a little drainage tray which doesn't hold much water. Let's see if there's a pot size in between these two that I've got. Let me have a look. Okay, so I've got a transparent pot, which is bigger than what it's been in at the moment. Like, it's about 4 or 5 sizes bigger, I'd say. I think I could go even bigger, you know? But if I go any bigger than this, it's going to be significantly bigger. Oh, I just don't know what to do. Just because I feel like the plant can take it. Do you know what I mean? Like, by looking at those roots, I just think it could do really well in a bigger pot. So maybe, oh, maybe I just go bigger. Make up your mind, Claire. Okay, although this one's not transparent, and I did like the fact that the other one was, because I love being able to monitor the roots, this is a little bit bigger and it fits into the drainage tray. I could obviously get a deeper drainage tray for a reservoir, but it would do for now. And I think it would allow a lot of good space for root growth. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to use that pot. Ooh. But because it's got quite big drainage holes at the bottom and I am going in with semi-hydro, I'm just going to put some leca at the bottom of the pot. Also, I know I said going in with semi-hydro. When I say semi-hydro, I'm going in with Soil Ninja's Pon equivalent. And by putting some bigger bits of leca at the bottom, it sometimes just stops so much pon from falling through the drainage holes. Okay, perfect. I know that this is now going to be very, very, very heavy, but I'm going to just pop her back in her position she was in before and give her, whoa, almost fell into the back. Give her a water through / fill the very, very small reservoir for the time being. Okay, so I've got that done and it has just stopped raining, so I think I'm gonna whiz out with Joli now and, hello baby girl, and try and get her nice and knackered, and then I can come back and we can carry on doing planty things because I've still got quite a bit to get through. So yeah, off we go then, come on in. So I've just got back from the walk and I was hoping that I might be able to kind of have a bit of a catch up with you guys on the walk, do a bit of a walk and chat, but it chucked it down with rain the whole time we were out. And ironically, since I've got back and I've changed, it's actually turned into the most beautiful day. It is gorgeous outside now, so that's typical. And also, I know I often joke saying my hair looks like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards, but today I actually was. Joli saw a pigeon that she decided would be absolutely delicious and she was on the lead and she pulled me through this hedge and I got completely tangled, and luckily it was fine, but it was, or would have been, a little bit embarrassing if other people had been around to witness that because I was just off in my own little world. But I'm actually just making a pot of green tea. My mum got me this really delicious green tea for my birthday. I used to love green tea when I was younger and I've got a little bit out of drinking it, and I know I've been absolutely hounding the coffee recently, so this is definitely the healthier option. And I am also very much feeling the fact that I haven't had any nicotine today, and I know that I need to kind of go through it in order to get over it, but it's really making me feel a little bit aggy. So I think I need to just carry on and get on with planty bits. Try my best to distract myself, chat to you guys, and I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be fine. So yeah, I'm gonna just bring over some more planty bits and we can carry on. I was just starting to move plants to bring over and I've had an accident. Look at that. Oh dearie me, I think it is probably just a mess and not a breakage, but I should probably just have a quick look and see if I've done any damage. No, it's just a bit messy. Yeah, this is my Anthurium bullatus, which is starting to grow really well for me. I don't know why all its leaves are coming out a little bit damaged. That is just how all of them have been so far. But yeah, I think I'm literally just gonna sweep up the soil that is here and put it back into the pot because luckily that plant is fine. And I've got a couple of things that I want to look at in this cabinet as well. Also, just look at the humidity. It is so warm in here. My Philodendron Majestic is doing some funny things at the moment. And also I'm thinking I'm gonna chop up the Philodendron Camposportoanum or whatever it's called. So yeah, I'm gonna take that through as well. Something that I wanted to show you is something plant related that Ross made me for my birthday. And I'll put the little lights on so that you can see. But it's a little terrarium that's been made to look like the ocean and I thought it was just gorgeous. I know Ross wasn't completely happy with how it came out. It was his first time using epoxy resin, but I think it's stunning. You've got the ocean down here, you've got a little turtle swimming, and then, as I say, it lights up, so at night time it makes the most beautiful lamp. And then at the top, got little sections of his Fittonia, and also these are shells that we found when we went to Pembrokeshire together. So I think that is so beautiful and I'm so happy with it. And yeah, it kind of makes me want to experiment doing things more like this kind of like creative meets plant stuff a little bit more. Because I mean, I know I say he isn't completely happy with it. I think it's gorgeous, but I think if you kind of really honed it, you could do some amazing things. So yeah, if you guys fancy having a play about with that, let me know and maybe can make some videos on it. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that. Also, my Philodendron Dean McDowell, I know I said a while ago that I didn't particularly want to chop it and I was going to try and train it to grow round the end of the pot. It's kind of working. I don't know if you can tell, but it has kind of started to curve, and I think the new bit of growth it's giving me is going to come out this side. So I'm really happy that I've managed to do that without chopping the plant. And also this is the newest leaf it's just given me, and look how beautiful that is. It's ginormous. It very much wants to face that way at the moment. But I think it's just beautiful and I'm so happy with how this plant's growing for me. So yeah, although I know at some point I will have to chop and propagate it, I'm just not keen to do it just yet. So I'm glad that that means I probably won't have to for the time being. And then I've brought quite a few things over, some of which might be a little bit messy and I don't really know if this is going to be the best position to be doing them all in, but I haven't cleared up the table yet and I thought that maybe I would just move the mess over here, which is not what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's what I feel like doing currently. So I've got my Philodendron Majestic, which is just yellowing a little bit. It is giving me a lovely new leaf, but I think it might be time to pot this one up. I just want to have a look at the roots, see how it's getting on and kind of reevaluate. And then, as I said in one of my last videos, my favourite plants of the month video, my Philodendron Camposportoanum, I think is how you say it. I'm still not getting my head around it, but And this one is growing so quickly and I'd love to get it onto a moss pole, but I'd quite like to take some cuttings first. So I thought I could take some cuttings today and maybe just kind of get them all potted in the same substrate, get it back into my cabinet, get it growing a bit, and then I could get it on a moss pole, I don't know, as soon as possible, whenever it's ready. I don't think the propagation process is going to take very long, just because it has got such insane aerial roots that would almost be ready to just be potted as they are, to be completely honest. But I'll do a little propagation first on that, I think. And then my Philodendron code 69686. This is a plant that I think I've said it in other videos, but it has just pretty much stopped growing for me since it flowered about this time last year. And I let it flower, and oh my goodness, it was beautiful. But since it's done that, its growth seems to have just been very, very stunted, and I'm almost wishing that I chopped that bloom back when it happened now, just because I feel like that could have upset the balance with the plant a little bit, and now it's not wanting to put energy into growth. So yeah, it's looking very sparse. It's just lost a leaf, which I actually think looks pretty cool, and I'm wondering if there's any like cool artsy things I might be able to do with that leaf. But yeah, I'm gonna get it out of its pot. I'm gonna have a look at the roots. I'm tempted to chop it up. I don't really know. But yeah, I'm gonna just have a look at that. And then the last one that I brought over to do, there might be more. I mean, I know there's more, but depending on what we've got time for. My Alocasia Mitcholitziana is incredibly root bound. She's in semi-hydro and it's literally all root. So I think similarly to what I did earlier in the video for my Alocasia Regal Shield, I think I'd like to get this one into a tower pot and just get a little bit more semi-hydro in there for her to be able to spread and not be quite so crammed up and contained, because she's growing like crazy. And she's almost back to the size she was before now, because I know I said I wanted another big one back in my collection after I chopped the last one up. It's happened very fast. So yes, that is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna set myself up a little spot here. So I'm gonna start with the one with the name that I can't pronounce properly, Camposportoanum. Which is currently also, in fact, the moss it's in is quite dry, but it's currently just in with lots of other philodendrons. It was a mixed bunch I got on the free table at the last London plant swap, I think. So I'm just gonna, I don't really want to chop it, but I also know that it is like the internodal spacing is so much and the petioles are quite long, that if I want to get a lovely full plant going, then I think chopping it is probably going to be the best idea to just fill it out a bit. So yeah, my God, look at those aerial roots. They're insane. So yeah, I'm gonna take a few cuttings and then I can pop them all up together, or at least, oh my goodness, that one's actually gone all the way down and started rooting already. I'm also just going to close my window because the sun comes out and people start drilling, and that's exactly what's just happened. There we go. I'm not quite sure how much audio is affected with this new camera. I'm still kind of getting used to things a little bit with it, but yeah, hopefully you can hear me a little bit better now. But yeah, what I'm probably thinking is I think I will, oh, this might be a mission. I was going to say try and get this one out, or do I just chop the root? Do I do a little root prune? Let me see if I can just wiggle it out. Oh, that actually pulled out perfectly. So yeah, that is a fantastic root system it's got there. Okay, I will need to deal with all of these other mystery philodendrons at some point. I can see I've got mycans in there. There was one with a specific name that I can't remember. I think I might need to watch my plant swap video back and look over the names again. This one, in fact, This almost looks a little bit, I'm sure it's not, but like the Yopii. In fact, that reminds me of something. What does that remind me of? I can't think. Yeah, like look at that leaf. Any theories, let me know. But yeah, I will focus on them in another video. For now, these are all the cuttings I've got of the Camposportoanum. And I'm just going to get them all going in sphagnum moss together. Hopefully the mid-cuts will start to root fairly soon. And then I've got this gorgeous, gorgeous top cut just here as well, which I'm sure will just kick into action. And then I can, yeah, as I say, I can pot them all up together, which will be amazing because I'd love to get a big full plant going of this. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and keep them in sphagnum moss. They seem to have been rooting really well in sphagnum moss for me. So that is what my gut is telling me to do. And I think I'll probably just keep them where they are at the moment in my bedroom cabinet because, as I say, it's got such incredible levels of humidity when it comes to propagation. If you're able to fit something like that, I mean, obviously assuming it is a tropical plant that likes higher levels of humidity, but it tends to just kick them into action and get them going a lot quicker. And I'm impatient, so that works pretty well for me. This is actually a fairly small cup I'm putting them into, but I'm thinking they probably won't need to be in moss any longer than maybe, I don't know, a few weeks. Because as I say, all of them, I mean, they've all got such good roots already. This is just kind of like an extra precaution that I'm taking here. They don't really need to be in moss for very long, so yeah, but that is now what it's looking like. It's obviously a lot fuller, and assuming all the cuttings take, that's how they will continue to grow, and then I can get it onto a moss pile, because I'm excited about this one. I'm just really surprised that this plant was just stuck on the free table. Maybe it is a more common philodendron than I know, but I'd never heard of it when I first saw it, and looking at it, I don't understand why it's not raved about more. I just think it's beautiful. So yeah, I'm excited about that one. But then the Philodendron Majestic, in fact, let me pop a little bit of water at the bottom of this to weigh it down a bit. Oh, that's not much more stable, but a little bit. So the Philodendron Majestic is another one that has been in my bedroom cabinet, and this is one of the ones that I got in my birthday plant unboxing. Absolute wish list plant for me. It's one that I've wanted for ages. But this leaf, which is not the original leaf, it's kind of the second to newest leaf, has obviously started yellowing and is dying back. And I can tell that this one's starting to get a bit of a yellowy tinge to it as well. And I'm not entirely sure why. I think its moss might have got a little bit dry. Well, yeah, it is quite dry at the moment. But this is only from the last couple of days. I have been fairly on top of keeping it hydrated. Obviously I know it could just be acclimating, like it has gone through a big environmental shift. I know I've put it in a space where tropical plants typically absolutely love propagating, like as I've just said about like the high humidity levels and stuff like that, but no matter what, it is still going to be a shift for this plant. So yeah, but I'm wondering, three guesses what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if perhaps, assuming it's got a good root system, it might do better in semi-hydro. That's what I'm kind of thinking, and I've had so much luck growing philodendron in semi-hydro recently. I'm kind of feeling like it would be a safe bet. I'm just going to try and get as much of this moss off as I possibly can. Probably give those leaves a little trim back, which I'm sad to do. I don't want to have to do it, but I mean, like, that's not bouncing back, is it? That's not coming back. So I think it's probably the sensible decision. And yeah, I'm hoping this plant should start to kick into action and give me some lovely growth as soon as possible, because my God, I've wanted this plant for years and years and years. And it's supposedly, as philodendron hybrids go, it's supposedly one of the easier ones. Obviously I've never grown it before, so I can't say firsthand, but I'm hoping that that is the case, because obviously ones like the Philodendron Splendid, which is a Melanochrysum verrucosum hybrid, I've got that one, and that for me has been a ridiculously easy philodendron. So this is also a half verrucosum. Maybe it will be as easy, I don't know. We are not off to the best start to find out, are we? Another plant that I would love to add to my collection at some point is just a pure Philodendron Sodoroi, a true Sodoroi, because I know I always bang on about my, I say love-hate relationship, more hate nowadays relationship with the Sodoroi Af, the crawling plants. That one has just been such a struggle for me, and I don't know why. But a true Sodoroi, I think, is just beautiful, and you're seeing them more and more nowadays. I'm not saying that they're like super duper accessible, but they're not as like considered to be rare as they were where I'm from. So I'm really hoping that maybe I can add one of those to my collection at some point soon, because this is, so as I've already said, this is half verrucosum and half Sodoroi. And it's got characteristics of both that I absolutely love, to be honest. You can see this new little leaf that's just come in is really, oh, it's a good angle to show you, is really pinky and verrucosum-y, but then as it hardens off, it's got kind of little splashes like that, like silveriness of the Sodoroi, which I think is just gorgeous. I just think it's the most beautiful combination. And I've said before, I struggle so much with the verrucosum. It just seems to be a plant that I'm a little bit jinxed with, and I feel like in the times that I've said this in videos, I feel like I'm not alone in this thought. A lot of you seem to agree. It is the biggest like magnet for pests. I've had every pest pretty much under the sun on my verrucosum at one point or another, but the worst one for me has been spider mites, and weirdly I haven't found that to be the case with verrucosum hybrids. I know sometimes they can have just like more of a resilience to things generally, like hybrid plants can be just much more robust and not quite as sensitive as the true forms, but I would love to be able to get on board a little bit more with the verrucosum, because I think it is just gorgeous. So yeah, that's another one that's in my bedroom cabinets currently. I keep thinking I'm going to take it out, and I keep chickening out because I get scared. Because when you take it out of the cabinet, that's when things tend to go very wrong. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll do it in a video and we can do it together, and then if things go wrong I can moan about it to you guys and not be all by myself. Okay, this one does actually have a really, really good root system, so I think it will definitely be ready to go into a semi-hydro. I could, of course, just pot it into soil, but I think probably, well, I mean, my grand plan with a lot of plants in my collection at the moment is to get them into semi-hydro, just because I've got so many reasons that I have spoken about in other videos, but the main reason being is they're much easier to monitor. If I go away, it's much easier to get somebody to come in and look after them and not have to worry about things like, oh, stick your finger down to here. And if, like, do you know what I mean? It just makes everything much easier. Plus my plants love it. That's the most important thing to say. My plants absolutely love it. So why would I not? Okay, right, I'm gonna chop this leaf. In fact, I think I could probably, yeah, there we go, just pull it off. And I'll leave that one on just for the time being. There's no harm in leaving it on, but I can tell that it is starting to, as I say, get a little bit of a yellowy tinge to it. And I think I've got about 90% of the moss off those roots. There's always going to be little remnants, but I'm pretty happy with how much I've got off. So yeah, I think probably straight into another cup. It's so handy just using these little cups for it. I know you can obviously then pot size up, but it just saves investing in loads of little pots and then cash pots and all that sort of stuff when you're doing semi-hydro. So yeah, I think that will be fine for it. is another one that I know will benefit a lot from a moss pole. I don't think just yet. I think I just want to get it acclimated and not giving me yellow growth, and then I'll think about moss poling it. Because as you can see already, again, some really great aerial roots. Perfect, and then I'll just give it a little reservoir of water, like that. And then I'm gonna keep it, as I say, continue to keep it in my bedroom cabinet with this one, and we'll see how it goes. I will keep a really close eye on it. I don't think there's anything kind of underlying that I'm missing here. I think it probably is just an acclimation issue. Like there's no sign of pests or anything like that. Obviously I did allow the moss to dry out probably ever so slightly more than I should have done, so I need to make sure that I stay on that. To be honest, my bedroom cabinet, because the humidity levels are so high in it, I often just neglect that cabinet a little bit, because I know that everything does tend to stay hydrated for much longer without me doing anything to it. For example, my big cabinet through here gets so warm, and although it's humid, I kind of need to water at the same rate as everything else in this room, whereas my bedroom cabinet, stuff can be in there for 3 weeks, like considering it gets up to like, I don't know, mid 30 degrees, stuff can be in there for 3 weeks and I won't really need to like hydrate it. So it does mean that I get a little bit complacent sometimes, and I need to get better with that. But yeah, and then I think I will save this one till last, just because I think it's going to be the messiest. But let's have a look at the code 69686. So firstly, I would say it's a plant that I've got on a moss pole. Firstly, I've been very bad at remembering to keep this moss pole hydrated, but also it's not really using the moss pole, and I don't really know if it needs to be on a moss pole. I went through a phase when I first kind of got more into moss pole making of getting every single climbing plant onto a pole, because I was like, it's going to make everything so much better. And although yes, for some plants it can be amazing for them, not all of them actually need it. And in their natural habitat, not all of them would actually end up climbing things. They might be absolutely fine just kind of like staked or gripping round like a bamboo cane or something. My Rhaphidophora tetrasperma actually is a key example of this, and I'll put some clips in so that you can see. But she's wrapped a lot of her aerial roots around the bamboo cane and is just holding onto it to kind of pull herself up. So yeah, I'm not sure with this one. I'm thinking I'll probably take it off the pole, to be honest, and use the pole for another plant. Oh my god, these scissors are doing my head in. Okay. So it doesn't have a particularly big root system. I'm not saying it's awful, but I think it could definitely be better. It doesn't smell rotty, but I can't see like lovely full roots either. I'm kind of thinking I might chop this plant up. This is a difficult one, because this has, I mean, at multiple points since owning this plant, been my favourite plant. But it's not bringing me that much joy at the moment, purely because it's not really growing for me since it flowered, as I say. And secondly, just because it's looking a little bit sparse and it doesn't look particularly happy. So maybe if I chop it up, I can get some, again, similarly actually to what I did with the Camposportoanum, just get it a little bit fuller, propagate some sections and start again maybe. Shall I do that? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it not using those scissors though, because otherwise I will hurt my hand. These scissors need to go in the bin. Right, let's do it. Okay, so that's actually quite a big top cut I've got there. This leaf doesn't look healthy. And I don't know why. Just look at that. It looks pesty. I can't see any pests. I can see nothing on either side of the leaf. But it doesn't look very healthy. You know what, I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna take that leaf off, and it's not purely an aesthetic thing being the reason that I do that, but just because, I don't know, I'm not sure how much that leaf is kind of serving the plant. It's all kind of curled and crooked, and these two leaves look pretty good. So yeah, cool. This is my top cut. And then I've got some bits that could absolutely become little wet stick chunks here. These roots actually are quite dry, so I'm just gonna chop them back. But it has got a couple of bits with really nice aerial roots. So yeah, I kind of think, I mean, that's obviously a fantastic root. And then another little cut here. Okay, right. I think I'm gonna just chop, and I think I'm probably gonna pop this one into a cup in my cabinet. This one with a leaf on it. And then the rest I'm gonna put into a prop box. I actually think the root system down the bottom here is probably not serving the plant very well. It looks very, I mean, it's just pulling away. I think this is probably also, I know I said it was partly due to when the plant flowered. I think that could just be a timing thing. I don't actually think that root system is doing good things for the plant at all. So yeah, these two are gonna be little prop box bits. This one, I'll probably put in sphagnum moss. In fact, I'll do that now. And then I'll put it into, again, probably bedroom rehabilitation cabinet, which is getting so full. And then yeah, then assuming all of the sections take, I'll think once it's rooted about how I want to go about doing things with this plant. But I think that feels like the best decision. I've kind of been looking at it for a while thinking it's not growing how it used to be. It's a plant that I had for a little while before I moved here as well. So I feel like I knew the plant quite well. I feel like I understood the plant. I was quite used to it doing kind of well for me. And what am I saying? I think, not that it was predictable, but I felt like I knew, what am I saying? I knew how it grew for me when it was healthy, and it's been out of character how this plant's been behaving for quite a while now. So I think a chop is what has been in order, is what I am saying. I think this is what the plant needs essentially. So yeah, I'll keep you updated with it, and then hopefully it will start doing better things for me again soon. But yeah, cool. That is what the top section is looking like, and it's got that gorgeous aerial root on it, so I'm hoping it should kick into action quite soon. But before I start on the fry deck, the Mitcholitziana, I am just gonna have a little tidy up because I've made a mess. The other thing that I just very quickly want to do first is get this beautiful, beautiful section of White Princess back into moss. I've currently just got it in water, and I think if I leave it in water any longer, it's probably gonna start to rot because there is still quite a lot of moss on the roots. But I did a Patreon video the other day, and I was basically saying in the video I wanted to pot all of my White Princess sections that I've propagated up together and get the start of my lovely full plant going. And I got a couple of sections out, and not all of them were at the same stage, and I think I just got a little bit ahead of myself. So I'm gonna leave them all propagating just a little bit longer, and then hopefully I will be able to get a nice plant going again soon, because I was so sad I couldn't go ahead and do that in that video. But yeah, the roots on this one are amazing. It's putting out so much lovely growth. It's got lots of new growth points. And I think it is going to make just the most beautiful, beautiful plant. Like, this already is bigger and fuller and more gorgeous than the cutting that I originally got of this plant way back when my plant was absolutely teeny. It was literally a one leaf cutting. So yeah, I think I can create a really beautiful plant here, and I'm so excited to get going, but just a little bit overexcited, I think. Getting ahead of myself. But yeah, cool. Cool, that one can go back into my bedroom cabinet as well. And then the Alocasia Mitcholitziana. So, this one is insanely root bound, and I can see that it has also, oh, that was clever, wasn't it? It has got, you can believe me, lots of roots that are coming out of the bottom of the pot. And I think, although this isn't a significant pot size up, what this pot here will do, because it is, again, it's a tower pot, it will just allow for the base of the stems here with nodes on to get contact with the semi-hydro and therefore to put out roots higher up. Which again, like if you are looking to chop and propagate the plant through cuttings, is a really, really good way to just kind of activate some of those roots and get them going. I'm just taking off all of the, I don't know what you call them. Would it be, I guess, kind of would be caterpillars, like little sheets that come out with the leaf. Just because, again, they are more likely to cause rotting. This is going to be messy. I can tell this is going to be messy, but let's just see if I can. Oh, wow. Okay. There's a lot of root here. And loads of little corms in here as well. My God. In fact, this little one that's actually turned into the start of a new plant, Ross was looking at that a while ago and he was saying, would we be able to divide it and would he be able to have one? So I mean, maybe I could actually do that now. It's definitely established enough. The thing that I really like as well about semi-hydro is when you change out the substrate, like with soil or sphagnum moss or anything like that, it can get really caught around the roots, whereas typically you can just kind of like squeeze it and it will just fall away quite easily when you use semi-hydro. I'm saying that this is all root. This is very difficult to get anything away from, but it's easier than it would be if it was something else, is what I think I'm saying. I think I'm going to just take some of these other corms out as well, if I can. Yeah, I've got ones like that. And actually, I've tried loads of different ways of propagating the corms, and I know some people do really struggle with it. The most effective way that I found currently, and I did speak about this in a video recently, I can't remember if it was Patreon or YouTube, I think it was on YouTube, but I have found the best way to do it is by using a pon or semi-hydro propagation box. I put loads of Alocasia corms into a Alocasia pon propagation box fairly recently. That's a Diddy one, I'm not sure if that will take or not. But they've all rooted beautifully and I've got loads and loads and loads of plants going now. In fact, the Alocasia green shields that I showed you earlier in this video, a lot of them started. Did they start in the prop box? No, I take that back. They were the shallow water method. Whoa, look at the size of that one. Oh, I'll try and hold it up without it going everywhere. Look at that. But yeah, that's how I have found the easiest way to propagate them to be. Because I know, as I say, I know they can be a little bit of a nightmare. Oh, and is that a corm? I think it might be. It's huge. But that's just fallen out, so I will pop that into, probably needs peeling, I would have thought, because I can imagine that outer kind of skin might be quite susceptible to rotting, but I will try propagating that, see what happens. Oh my goodness, yeah, there's loads in here. Okay, there we go. So that's the little plant that I was going to divide for Ross. So I will pop that up separately. And we've got another little fry deck because obviously he's moving in soon. Ross has got like 25 plants as well. We're going to have not just Ross and all his stuff, but we're also going to have 25 more plants. So I feel like it might be a little bit cramped in here for a while. We'll make it work. Of course we'll make it work. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a squish. Okay, I am not going to... Oh, wow. Look at that. Whoa. I'm not going to... Is that a tuber? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to take off any more of the semi-hydro just because, as you can see, I've got pretty much all roots here, and I could probably do a little bit of root pruning, to be honest, but I'm not going to, just because I want the roots to spread as much as possible when they get into the new environment, and there is going to be quite a lot of more space, quite a lot of new space for them to be able to kind of do their thing. So I'm gonna just leave them for the time being. God, I've got so many corns coming off this, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm gonna just, whoa, lay that down really gently. And fill, oh, in fact, I might need to do what I did earlier and put a little bit of lacquer at the bottom, just because I'm using fine semi-hydro and I feel like it might just fall through there. You know what would be even better? And I don't know if I have any, but the netting that onions comes in. Emma told me about this ages ago and it is the best thing in the world. Do I have any? Oh, you know what? I do have a little bit. So yeah, I'm just going to cut some of that and just put that at the bottom, because obviously then semi-hydro isn't as likely to fall out, but water can still pass through, and because this is plastic, it isn't going to rot. And it's also just a good way to recycle. Okay, it's not going to be utterly foolproof, but it is going to help. I'm just going to take those bits and put them over the holes there as much as I can. I'm sure it won't be perfect, but I think it'll be better than nothing. It's finicky because they want to sit. In fact, I'm going to weigh them down with semi-hydro as I go. They want to bend in the direction they were going in before. Okay, I don't want to move this too much to show you. You can kind of see that's what it's looking like. And as I say, it's not perfect, but it will do the job. So I'm just going to put a little bit more in, and then I'm going to go straight ahead and put this in, because as I say, I want it to be able to have space for me to be able to fill the semi-hydro up a little bit more and get these bits in. Because as you can see, look just there, you can see there is a root starting to come up there, and if you put substrate even higher, it's going to just encourage even more roots to form. And I'm wondering even if I can technically use the same pot as before. I know it looks a bit silly, I should probably get a taller one. But for now, this will do the job. I just need to obviously create a little reservoir. But I'm hoping that plant's going to be much happier now, because I've been able to see for a while it's been massively, massively outgrowing that pot. So I'm hoping that should do the trick. And then, I know I'm just kind of keeping on going today, but when Ross went shopping the other day, as well as bringing home a very freaky bear mask, he also brought home some rosemary, and I have always been quite bad growing herbs, not just indoors, like even outdoors, unless I actually pot them in the ground. I haven't had the best luck. And I was doing a little bit of digging online, and a lot of people saying it comes down to, and this is no surprise really, but it comes down to the soil that's used to pot them, because obviously they get a lot of them out very, very quickly. The soil quality often is awful. They haven't been very well taken care of. They're just put out there to make quick money, to die off, for people to then repeat the cycle, go and buy more and want to kind of try again and try again. So I want to just get it into some decent, also, I was going to say, great roots, but look at the top there. Can you see it? It's got one of those nets on it. And again, I can absolutely guarantee that this is the reason that this plant will probably kick the bucket in a few weeks if we don't do anything about it. So I'm going to just try and get as much of the existing soil off as possible and get it out of this stupid little plug plant's net. Oh my God, it smells so good. Yeah, why they don't make these things biodegradable. Honestly, I've said it with houseplants before, because I've had so many houseplants that I've gone, oh, I wonder what's going on here. And then as soon as I unpot it and I look at the roots, I'll see one of these horrible little plug netting things. And it just jeopardizes your plants so much. Okay, so I've got quite a lot of soil off this one. It isn't all of it, but I think I have got all the netting off, which is the most important thing. And yeah, I mean, as I say, the only time I've been able to grow rosemary successfully is like in my mum's garden. She's got a massive, massive rosemary bush, and it grows on, like, I mean, she lives on like very chalky land and it grows fine. So I guess maybe if I just put it in a chunky soil mix like what I used earlier. Let's give it a go. If any of you know and you have experienced either growing this plant indoors or like on a balcony as a pot plant, then please do let me know. Because I'd really like to not have to keep buying plants. It's so bad for the environment. And it's a shame when the plant just dies as well, isn't it? So, could go in with this pot that I've just used. I'm just going to grab the soil. Where did I put the soil? And yeah, I'll give it a water through, and now that the sun's out, pop it outside for a bit of sun. I think it probably should grow close to a window, even if you do grow it indoors. I know some people seem to have a lot of luck with growing herbs indoors. I just don't know enough about it because I've never really done it long term. I mean, I've done it, as I say, from time to time, but it's never ended particularly well. So any tips, I would be very grateful. Cool. All done. Oh, and I know what I forgot. Potting up Ross's little Alocasia Mitcholitziana. Let's do it in semi-hydro. I like semi-hydro for Alocasia, as you know. And I think it will give this one the best possible chance. There we go. Again, I'll just fill a little reservoir at the bottom, and I think that one should continue to do well. It's such a gorgeous plant. I mean, the Mitcholitziana is honestly an alocasia that I could have if I had the space all over my house. I think it is so beautiful. So yeah, I guess, I mean, we could try growing this one in the bedroom maybe. I think I've mentioned already, but me and Ross have got quite a lot of very exciting plans when he moves in to transform, and I do mean transform, my bedroom space and create new grow zones, create office spaces. And I've shared quite a lot about what we're thinking over on Patreon, but I can't wait to show you. I'm so excited to show you because it's going to be amazing if it works. So yeah. But I think I'm going to finish here for the day. I'm actually really happy with what I got through, considering I started this video not feeling particularly productive at all. I I'm feeling pretty good about what we've done today. So I really hope if you were doing planty things as well, then you've got lots done too. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Ooh, my fingers feel horrible and soily. Thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.